Theseus in his wanderings also had miniature labors like Hercules, and he's also connected with Hercules because not only does he kill the Minotaur, he also kills one of the Cretan bulls that is rampaging through Greece. The bull was brought there by Hercules to Greece as a part of his 12 labors, but he doesn't finish it. Theseus does. So again, that importance of the bull continues on. Crete held sway in the Mediterranean for quite some time. Most likely, Crete is responsible for other myths. The only ancient rendition we have of Atlantis is from Plato. And Plato was quite fond of making up his own myths. He made up the myth of the man-woman, the creature that was both male and female, that was so powerful that Zeus split it asunder so it wouldn't conquer heaven. Shades of Tower of Babel. And the man-woman is constantly seeking to reunite, which you can draw your own conclusions there. But Plato wrote about Atlantis. And most scholars say that, or agree that most likely Atlantis was Thera, which wasn't the Cretan island itself, but which was a Cretan colony or a Cretan outpost. And it just blew up hugely, which probably contributed to the downfall of Crete later because it would have caused huge tsunamis. So Thera blew up. It's also called Santorini, by the way. Didn't know anything about Thera for a long time, but it's only been in the last few decades that archaeologists have said, wow, look, there's ruins here on the remains of this island. There are no other ancient references to Atlantis, and you will read that there are, but those are inaccurate. The Egyptians didn't have it, and other societies didn't have it either. It's most likely that Plato was using that as a scenario because Atlantis was supposed to have been, you know, a highly civilized culture, because Plato believed in perfection. Plato believed in absolute truth. Plato said that somewhere there is a plane where perfection exists. Why is this important? Because later the Christians would adopt this Platonic idea and turn it into the concept of heaven. Christianity is highly influenced by the Greek, and many of the books of the Christian scriptures were written in Greek, and they are highly Platonic in some of their ideology. But at any rate, Theseus defeated the Minotaur with the help of Ariadne, who he then later abandoned on an island. And Graves says that was necessary, because if she had left the realm of Crete, she would have lost her priestesshood. And besides that, she married Dionysus. Why'd she need Theseus when she married Dionysus? That's an aside. Theseus defeats the Minotaur and goes back to Greece, where unfortunately his father is standing over the sea looking for him, and Theseus was supposed to change the black sails, which was an indication of mourning for sending all of these fine young women and men over to Crete. He was supposed to change the color of the sails when he came back, so Aeneas would know whether he was successful or not. Theseus is forgetful, forgets to change the sails. His father sees the ships coming with the black sails, said, "My son is dead," jumps off into the sea, kills himself, and that's why it's called the Aegean Sea, after Aegeus. But at any rate, Theseus is successful in his quest to kill the Minotaur, comes back, becomes the king of Athens, has some more adventures, and this is more than just a tale of a hero going and killing a man-bull. Historical allegory. Remember, way back at the beginning of class, I said that often myth is historical allegory. And Graves says this is what the myth of Theseus is. It is historical allegory for the mainland Greece breaking away from its Cretan influence. And that Theseus's killing of the Minotaur was just that. It was the severing of that Cretan, I won't say Cretan influence, but Cretan dominance. And that was probably then where the mainland began to rise in its importance. There are variations of this myth between about Theseus and the bull, and they all are in Graves, which is one reason why I really like Graves, because he gives all versions. So keep that in mind when you study the rest of the Greek myth and watch this PowerPoint, that Crete is extremely important in the development of Greek myth. Unfortunately, just like the Etruscans, there is a section of Greek writing, Cretan writing is divided into two scripts, Linear A and Linear B. We have translated Linear B and not Linear A. Now, I say unfortunately, but I'm not sure how unfortunate it is, because Linear B has nothing to do with Cretan myth. It has to do with how many bars of gold and, etc., etc. So we might not know any more about Cretan myth if we could translate that than we do now. So we have no written form of the myths from Crete. What we know about Crete is what we read and understand from the Greeks. Think of how much was lost. Makes me sad, but not a whole lot I can do about it until one of my students creates a time travel machine and we go back.